Hey, women entrepreneurs and agency owners, would it be valuable to you to have a business strategy that would turn your personal goals into reality? And what if the roadmap, the systems, the processes necessary for execution were all mapped out for you? Would that be valuable? Then listen up as because today we're joined by the amazing Kiley Peters, and she's going to be sharing her killer tips for doing exactly that on this episode. So, welcome to Momentum Maker Podcast. I'm awesome Angie Ingstrom, honoring the awesomeness in you.
And I'm Gita Adgard. And once again, a big welcome, Kylie. We are so thrilled to have you on the show today.
Thank you
Welcome.
for having me.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. Now, I'm going to start out by doing your bio because maybe some of you don't know Kylie already. So, Kylie is a keynote speaker. She's a podcast host. She's an international award-winning serial entrepreneur and a small business strategist with more than 20 years of entrepreneurial experience. She has run three businesses, selling millions of dollars and managing dozens of team members. And she's built and successfully exited her digital marketing agency to launch her executive leadership consultancy, RAYNE IX. Kylie has helped hundreds of women launch and scale their businesses, helping them fulfill their life purpose and build businesses and lives that align with their personal goals and values. So, personally, Kylie, I am super excited for this podcast, and I'm super excited to hear what you're going to be sharing with us and our audience and all those golden nuggets. So, yeah, once again, a big welcome, Kylie.
Thank you again. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome to Momentum Maker Podcast. So, that was our intro for you. How about Kylie, in your words, like give us your 10-second elevators pitch?
Thank you again. I'm Kiley Peters. I'm the founder of RAYNE IX, and we are a strategic consultancy. We help women exit their agencies and launch boutique consultancies to maximize their value and what they've built and confidently step into and transition into the next chapter of their lives so that they can find more joy in all the things. As mentioned, yes, I have a background in digital marketing. I ran a digital marketing agency for 6 years. And then I'm sure we can get into it, but realized that that was no longer the path for me. Exited, shut that down, and then made this transition myself into a consultancy.
Awesome. Yeah, it's time to hear that story. We'd love to hear how did you get started with this, to get to where you are today with Rain 9. Where did it start?
Well, it all started back in 2016 when I launched my digital marketing agency. So my agency was called Brainchild Studios. And in 2016, before working remotely or virtual was cool or everybody was doing it. We needed COVID to disrupt everything before people took virtual work seriously. We started as a virtual agency, and I realized that all I needed was a Wi-Fi connection and a laptop to do the majority of the work that I do, having spent years in a digital marketing capacity in multiple different organizations. And so I launched Brainchild Studios to become the workplace that I wanted to be at, and in the process was able to create a culture and environment for a lot of other women to have a form of income and be surrounded by a bunch of other amazing women doing work that they believed in. And we had built an incredible culture. And we had international clients. We had a number of team members. We had done amazing things and had been recognized in many, many ways. And so for all of that, I'm incredibly grateful. But at the end of 2021, I realized that I had been chasing somebody else's definition of success because it sure wasn't mine. And after realizing I'd been having heart palpitations for about the last 9 months, I was like, I don't think this is the path for me anymore. So with as much grace as I could muster, I worked on getting clear on what that looked like for me and what defining success looked like for me. And then made some strategic changes within the organization itself. And within the first 60 days of 2022, we signed more net new revenue than all of 2021 combined. And by the end of March 2022, we had signed all the revenue we needed for the year, which allowed us the opportunity to start making the transition into RAYNE IX and the consultancy that we are running right now today. So all of that came along because I made the really difficult decision to listen to myself and to listen to my body and listen to what I wanted. And even though 2022 was our most profitable year to date, and I mean, like six-figure profits, I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And so I followed that pursuit versus the one that I probably could have stuck it out and made a whole lot more money at that time, but would have been miserable in many ways. So I pursued my definition of success and doing the work that really lights me up. And now I have the great privilege of helping other women do the exact same.
I love that. I love
Awesome.
that. So
Yeah.
tell me the story of RAYNE IX. How did that name come about?
Yeah, I love talking about RAYNE IX, the name. I love naming things. I name everything. I've named rocks, I have named cars, I have named plants, I have named mannequins, I have named everything. I love naming things. I also have named a lot of companies, which has been something fun that I love doing. But the name RAYNE IX came around in September of 2020, I believe it was. Which I think that's when we lost RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg has always been a really big inspiration to me. Yeah, I think it was September of 2020. And, I will never be Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I am not an attorney. I will never be an attorney. I'm never going to serve in the ways that she did. But my hope was to, in some small way, continue on the work and the legacy that she has done in providing gender equality across the board. And I figured if I can do that in my own small way, that I can help carry on her legacy. So RAYNE is an Israeli and Scandinavian word that means mighty council. And the Roman numeral 9 is a nod to when Ruth was asked, when will there be enough women on the Supreme Court? She said, well, when there are 9, there were 9 men. So I guess when there are 9 women. And also a nod to Title IX for gender equality in sports and education. So the name is intended to mean mighty council for gender equality.
I am glad I asked
Beautiful.
that question.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Do you
Yeah.
do you plank on her birthday every year?
Do I plank?
Isn't that what people do? Like on her
Well,
birthday, every year
maybe. I
people
don't
plank.
plank on her birthday, but I remember her. I try to honor her. I mean, if I were to show you the rest of my office, you'd see RBG stuff everywhere. She's on my little poster behind me. But no, I don't know that I plank on her birthday. I don't think I'm that hip. I'm not that cool.
I had to ask.
Worth asking.
All right, Katie, your turn.
Yeah, yeah. And she loves planking.
More power to you, man. You got to keep that core strength, that's for sure.
That's right.
Okay, so I'd like to ask about RAYNE IX. How you help your clients in that consultancy?
Yeah, so we help a couple of different folks, depending on their starting point. So we oftentimes help women who are in corporate, sick of working for quote unquote the man and want to own their own time and leverage their brain power to create their own way. We help them launch a consultancy to do that in the quote unquote right way we hear all the time. It's like, if I'm going to do this, I want to do this the quote unquote right way. So we help give them a super solid foundation in which to do that. And our process starts by getting clear on defining success for themselves first. And then we help them build their business model strategies and infrastructures in alignment with their personal goals and values, which largely focus on getting clear on the vision of their company, getting really clear on who their audience is, doing the audience research to understand what problems they are willing to pay to solve and which ones they actually want to solve, and then creating a productized deliverable or deliverables to solve solutions to problems instead of selling their time. Then we help them price through those things. We help build a strategic roadmap to bring it to fruition. And then we help them understand the finances behind that so that they are running a profitable entity, because revenue is truly just a vanity number. It's really about your profitability. And so that's the core of what we do. We also have a group program in which we have brought in 15 women, small business owners that are all experts in their field and serve other women business owners. And they talk about and teach everything from time management, accounting, legal, lead generation, marketing strategy, sales processes, operations, personal branding, automations, tax strategy, exit strategy, financial planning, etc., so that they have a super solid foundation on the quote unquote right way to build the business. So that's the core of what we do. We also support women agency owners who are ready to be done with that phase of their life, just like me a few years ago, and are wanting to still keep working, but streamline things, not have to manage a big team, etc. So we help them manage that exit and navigation process to shut down their agency or sell or whatever that exit looks like for them. So, and ease them into that transition of the consultancy or whatever comes next for them.
Wonderful.
Yes,
So in your process that you just went through, which is wonderful, by the way,
Thank you.
very thorough. It sounds like you're building a community. It's like a
Yes, that's ultimately what we roll into. That's not the lead, if you will. So everybody that goes through our one-on-one program and our accelerator program have the opportunity to continue in our accelerator alumni community. And in our alumni community, we feature office hours with our guest speakers and additional resources, and you have access to everyone else who's gone through the accelerator program and is in the alumni community. So it's a small but mighty group. That's not something that we're interested in growing by like hundreds of people each year. It grows by a couple dozen people each year, and they build really deep, meaningful relationships with one another.
so it's like a group coaching kind of a cohort kind of a thing.
We don't necessarily do group coaching. Everybody that does go through the master or through the accelerator program, though, does have the opportunity to continue on in a mastermind for their cohort. So if they do want to continue in that capacity, that's an option for them.
I was going to say, I was trying to figure out where's the relationship building piece. It's in the mastermind portion
The
then.
mastermind,
Gotcha.
but we have a number of different cohorts that launch each year. And so when you join the alumni community, you then get the opportunity to build those relationships with women that were in other cohorts that didn't necessarily go through at the same time that you did.
Very fascinating. I did have one question though on your process.
Yeah.
Because you help agency owners exit.
hmm
For the rest of the group the process you just went through, is there an exit piece to that as well?
So that's a great question. In the name of niching down and not trying to be everything to everybody, not right now, not at this time. As somebody who ran an agency for multiple years, has met and knows the deep insights from many, many other agencies, and has helped a couple also exit and working through that process. It's a different beast than a normal company or any other company. It's just a different beast. It's a different flavor. So we're really focused on helping women agency owners prepare that exit and then using that IP to launch into whatever they decide they want to do next. So currently, those are the only people that we are focusing on helping to exit. And then we are helping launch strategic consultancies for primarily sales and marketing individuals.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to hear some stories. Like, what are some success stories so that our listeners can kind of see themselves in your work?
Yeah. Um, okay, let's see. Where do you want to start? Let's see. Where can I start? Um, we have helped somebody exit. We helped somebody exit and we worked with them for a couple years. And in doing so, we ended up, she didn't want to manage her team. So a lot of times that's what we hear from people, that I just don't want to manage people anymore. How do I do this? So the answer is not like, oh, burn it all down and shut it down tomorrow, right? So there's a lot of things that we can do to, we run profitability analysis. We understand like maybe there's some clients that you should fire, maybe there's some people you should fire. How do you streamline things to really increase profitability? So we worked with one client to help her reduce her team, streamline, and increase her profitability. So by working together, we reduced her team by 50%. We increased her profitability over 300%. We reduced the amount of time she was spending in the business by about 75%. We helped increase their revenue and then doubled her personal income and then prepared her for an exit on her own terms. So that was one example. We have also helped women launch their consultancies. We have 2 women that we help launch sales consultancies, and here we are about 2 years later. One is making multi-six figures in revenue, has a pretty significant team, has been making a lot of moves for herself. The other has successfully exited corporate to start building her consultancy, supporting women entrepreneurs, and she's doing really well herself. We had another team member, or I'm sorry, another client earlier this year. She was running an agency, and after talking with her, we realized she didn't actually want to do the marketing aspect of things, but she loved doing sales. So I was like, why are you not doing sales for creative agencies? She's like, oh, I could do that. I was like, yeah. And so within 60 days, she rebranded, launched a new website, booked 4 new clients, and started a wait list. So those are a couple of the things that we've been up to.
Love it. I love it. Oh my goodness.
Great stories. Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, I was just thinking, you were talking about your process, and to me, it sounds really, really cool. It's like you thought of almost everything.
Thank you. We tried.
So I'm just thinking, what holds people back from working with you?
I don't think enough people know about us, honestly.
That's
I
usually the
mean,
biggest thing. Yeah, that's why we
yeah.
exist.
If I'm being honest, I don't think enough people know about us. We really pride ourselves in being a small and mighty team, and being able to create safe spaces for women entrepreneurs to be open and vulnerable. And I think that I personally do a pretty good job of creating those safe spaces. And as an organization, we really value and prioritize that. That's one of the reasons that we typically don't work with men, because we've been in a lot of workshops with women who say, I wouldn't be saying the things I'm saying if men were in this room. And so I hear that, I respect that, and I value that. And so as an organization, that we really stand by that. So to be able to really wholeheartedly say that we believe that the world will be a better place when women have autonomy over all aspects of their lives, including their finances and literally everything else, that is our anthem. And we want to do everything we can to help make that a reality. And so oftentimes when we meet the right people at the right time and it's the right move for them, it's a great fit. And we've done our best to try to create different tiered pricing opportunities so we can meet people at their different budgets. But yeah, I mean, I think we just need to get in front of more people and continue to do the good work that we're doing.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
such a great mission. I really love that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
empowering
I love
women.
this
Yeah,
conversation, Kylie. This is
yeah.
great.
Thank you so
So
much. Yeah.
we've talked about a lot of cool stuff so far. Any last comments before we wrap this up?
Well, for me, what I would say to any women entrepreneurs listening, I would say just know that you're not alone, that this can be a very lonely journey, but it doesn't have to be. And if you haven't already found your people, find your people and/or reach out to us, because if we can help be your people, that would be awesome. But you can do it. You can do it. I just want everybody to know that if you are willing to work for it, it's possible. That's it.
Love that. And I truly believe that it's not an accident. If you're listening right now and you're hearing Kylie's voice, it is not an accident. So, so
No.
Kylie, tell these listeners what they need to do in order to connect with you further.
Well, I would love for you to, anybody listening right now, please reach out and connect on LinkedIn and just say how you heard of me. And I really do mean that, because I've heard like horror stories of people connecting with people that they didn't know, and then they like got stalked. So please reach out and say like, hey, I heard you on this podcast and just wanted to connect. And I will say, thank you. Awesome. Would love to connect. And then you can also reach out and you can stay connected with us at our newsletter. You can find that at Rix, RIX, newsletter.com. and that comes out on a regular basis. So you can stay in the loop on all the cool stuff that we're doing.
Hmm. So I would just encourage all you listeners to connect with Kylie on her LinkedIn profile, and we'll be putting the link for that in the show notes, so it's easy to access.
Yeah, and if you want to find our website, it's RAYNEIX.com, and you'll see all the cool stuff that we're doing there as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us, Kylie. It's been such a pleasure, and yeah, I just love this conversation. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So let's wrap it up, Angie. I'm Gita.
And I'm awesome, Angie. And thank you for listening to Momentum Maker Podcast. And one more time, Kylie, thank you for being here today and just sharing all the greatness you're doing. Just so excited for you and all the great things you're working on. Love this. So, listeners out there, thank you for listening to Momentum Maker Podcast. Keep your momentum, keep moving forward. And if you happen to be a course creator, or a coach or an entrepreneur spending too much time on the phone selling one-on-one, and you're ready to condense time and sell one to many, then that's what Geety and I do. And you can open up a tab and go to elitevirtualstages.com/blueprint and learn how you can turn your expertise into a 6 or even a 7-figure day using live transformational virtual masterclasses.